here we are, Division 2, Drunk Strain. Drunk Strain. We're gonna take out some... Knock out all the fucking dailies today. I got beer. You. So I guess I could use this as a opportunity to shut up, radio guy. Well, I was gonna use this opportunity to explain, like, oh man, these last 2 months have been nuts, outright ballsy nuts. Let's see. So we attempted to do the for-profit variant, which we've left up. You know, if anybody wants it, it's there. Go for it. We also had the Sailor Rogowski variant, which we still have like 200 of the mini ash cans left to buy if you want them. They're not of the best quality, but they're there. And we have the normal size ones available if you want those too. Just reach out to us. About die, motherfucker. Yep. So that's that. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Oh, man, Comic-Con. Let's talk Comic-Con. So, Comic-Con was great. I got to meet Nips, who I've been dying to meet for ages. That was the experience. Met Doug TenNapel, Earthworm Jim fame. That was surreal. I actually need to get with him and see if I can get on a show. That'd be great. And then there's like some minor things that we need to do back inside. So, let's see, what else? Oh yeah, we are about to go through a relaunch, reorg again. This will be like our second iteration of doing something like this. The intent is to actually do something where we can actually turn a profit. There will be less variants, and if we do more variants than 3, they're all going to be just for-profit variants. Or Discord prizes. So there's that. If anybody thought it was a joke, Mr. Lister, Sister Fister is a thing. It's going to be happening. And it may or may not be published through Antarctic Press. Just depends on how we feel at the end of it. More than likely it will be after we get like the first 4 done. And then we'll see how people react to that and go from there. But the intent is to do about 4 issues of it and then move on to something else. It probably won't be the complete series, but we want to try to do it manga style, where you know you have 4 issues compiled into one volume, one book or whatever that you can just sit back, relax, read. That's that. Also working on getting some items CGC'd. So I'm working on getting that signature series done. Unsure of how long that's gonna take. And issue 5 is getting lettered and edited as we speak. So that's kind of like the major rags updates for now. I know we had a little mini snafu with the Easter variant not having a back cover. Finally took care of and handled that. So hopefully soon we'll get back on track with everything else. Loading. And we will be looking at the top 3 from the fan art contest. The one with the most votes in Discord, and we will be posting those to Patreon here soon to see who will be the winner and win $600 and be the main cover. I just hope everyone paid attention to follow the rules. Did not have to have Regina on the onesie, but I did want the G36 and the CZ75. It's all about attention to detail, following the rules, and being creative with what you have. Speaking of covers, one thing I did notice is people like to draw Regina short. She is not short, she is 6'1". Fun fact. Not really a fun fact, but just a fact. Draw that woman tall and let her be the Amazon that she is supposed to be.
I need to nail this guy.
And then, after all this, I will be working on Bunshot. Bunshot will happen immediately after issue 7 of Rags is complete. So think of it, Bunshot, Mr. Lister, Sister Fister, and then whatever nonsense we come up with next. But that's kind of it. We are trying to get a motion comic done. And yeah. Oh, by the way, if you follow us on Twitter, we will be leaving Twitter after issue 7 because Twitter is a dumpster fire. Is the biggest clusterfuck dumpster fire ever. Wow, it's a bunch of 40-year-old men acting like they're in high school, and it's the saddest thing. Only reason why I'm involved in any of that nonsense that's going on right now is because it had to deal with a few business associates of mine, and yeah, protect your friends. That's all I'll say about that. Just can't wait for that Mr. Medicare video. Hello, one viewer that just left.
The intel you picked up was an analysis of our defenses at the...
I will miss you very much. I will not miss you. Doop doop. Doop. This is the best 10 minutes of my life. Doop doop doop.
I've had a team analyzing the data you gathered at Kinley College. They discovered a threat we need you to investigate. Report to Torres at the White House for transpo.
Report to Torres for the White House for transpo. Nah, don't. Oh, yeah, we finally got around to getting the prizes out for, bloody scavenger hunt. So those metal covers have been sent out, for those winners that got the G.I. Joe variant. Keep in mind that, yes, it's not supposed to have a back cover. That's the only one that wasn't supposed to have a back cover. I don't know how that got snafu'd. I will be fixing that before I go back to the merch tier guys and fix them. Everything that they're supposed to do. Oh yeah.
Patching her through now.
Hey, this is Mari. The hyena's broken and they've been fucking with our equipment. We've locked ourselves in the cafe. We're okay for now, but we cannot afford to lose the fish farm.
Or could you afford to lose the fish farm? Yep, you could really use a bullet to the face. Flanking. Down. Down. all by myself. Wish Shane was here, but Shane's big baby Shane. Ooh. Yeah, he's going down, down in an early round. Sugar, you're going down swinging. Number one with the bullshit. Number one complex, cock and bullet, going down,
We're in
down.
the cafe. Quickest way to us is to go through the maintenance room to the lower level of the atrium.
Yep. Little Sugar and Gordon are going on. Shit. Yeah. Where are you, buddy? Where are you? There you are. Ah, Bernardia.
The hyenas turned off the filtration system. While you're in there, if you can get it back online, you'll save the fish farm.
I fuck the fishes because they're so delicious. Gotta go fishes. I like go fishes. Beep. Oh, come on. Beep. That door, Jill, don't open that door. Door, this door. You. Yeah, yeah. Transitional fire. Sucks to be you. Sucks to be you. Ah. I have Eagle Bear. Beep.
Seems complicated, but it's been intern proofed. Should be a poster on the wall that will show you what you need to do.
Alright, let's see. Ozone foam degas. Foam degas. Alright, let's see. What's this? What are you? Ozone. Ozone. Foam. Degas. Not gonna lie, originally that took me like 14 minutes to figure out. Doop 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 doop.
Thanks for getting the system back online. You saved the fish farm.
Yeah, Narnia. Narnia. There you are. Narnia.
Well, I guess we pissed them off. More hyenas just came into the atrium.
We should tell them to go away. Ooh, yeah, that's right. Let's not go that way. Do 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 do. Get loot, get loot, get loot. Loot, loot, loot. Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna get a camera and we'll do camera shit, but not a big fan of doing camera shit. Mainly because I don't like my face. My face is ugly, just like my soul. Open door. Lightweight M4. Oh yes. Before I forget, Raven is launching Machi the Lazy Witch Kickstarter here in October. So everyone back the fuck out of that for love of God. Please support Raven in her efforts, because she's done a lot of work for us. She's done a lot of she's done a lot of work for us, and she's helped out. So nothing would be greater for me than to seeing her do better, or actually get her Kickstarter kicked off. Is that damn? Right. I'm running in circles. Circles. Yep. Issue 5 is almost ready to rock, ready to go, but a little tweaking on the lettering, which my fault, not yours. So we'll get that out the way here in a minute. Yep. Okay.
Thanks for getting the system back online.
Anytime, Nancy. Anytime. Oh yeah, that was the thing. So with this relaunch reorg thing that we're gonna do, it's going to not be Rags the comic. It's going to be the New Age Ninja Corps. I don't really want to call it imprint, but just our little thing. You know, we're gonna do what it is that we do, and you know, if we get published by somebody, we know we get published by somebody, but it's not that big of a deal. Loading. Like Black Hawk down. Eat it, Brandon. Ow. Alright, oh, here we go. Beep. Yeah, you are. Oh, and a move. Boop. No, we can't. Pop your head up. Yeah. Darn ya. See you, baby. What up? Right in the ovaries. Mm-mm. Do.
More hyenas headed your way.
Oh, I gotta survive a hyena assault. Assault on precinct 13. Yeah, motherfuckers. Boom. Fire. We don't need no water, let the motherfucker burn. Done, son. Napalm sticks to kids. Cooks the liver and it burns the ribs. Napalm sticks. Oh, how are you immune? That's bull. Oh, that's bull. That's bull. That's bull. That's bull.
I think you got them all. You should be good now. Come on up. We cleared the door.
Bull. Napalm sticks to kids.
Thanks for your help. We're safe now, but we've still got a lot of work to do here.
Mm-hmm. Look at this part. Napalm sticks to kids. Sticks their liver and it burns their ribs. Napalm sticks to kids. Woo! Burns their liver and it kicks their ribs. Mm-hmm.
Report to Torres at the White House for transpo.
Now! Doing all these classified assignments are all fucking bullshit. Oh hey, I got a thing. Boop, boop, boop. Loading, loading, loading. Get the streamer loading. Yeah, I'm fucking loading. Right. Loading, loading, loading. Loading, loading, loading. Loading.
The police used the building as a temporary station during the outbreak. They built some holding cells on lifts.
Yeah, let me just do one quick thing. Beep, 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 beep. Fire! I'm just gonna pistol everybody. Oh. Motherfucker.
Moving for a better shot.
Sure you are.
Leave this one to me.
Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boom! Video game secret. All pistols outperform rifles and some machine guns. Boom. Napalm sticks to kids.
Shut up. Look, I'm a surgeon. I can use it. Please don't hurt me. I will if you don't shut the fuck up.
Hello, viewer. How are you?
Get away.
On a perfect day, we would be streaming with Trent, but Trent is out of town this weekend. Beep. Oh. Hello, second viewer, who I don't know who is viewing. Kids, sticks their ribs. Napalm sticks to kids. So what I'm doing right now, I'm doing all the little Castlified missions before I jump into the dailies, which should be absolutely boring, but I don't know. I like my tactical shooters. Oh, hey. Whoop. Frag.
Hey, you guys hear that? You're going down.
Down.
Free the hostages.
Which is silly because the curtain control should be behind stage. I'm not sure if anyone's been to, like, theater before, but yeah. Come on, Mr. Turret, do your job. Yeah. Oh. Narnia. Get up. But hi, welcome new people. You are probably shy. Come heckle me and chat. Get that motherfucker up there. There you go. Pin suppressed. That guy ballsy. Where are you at? There you are. Fucking head out. There you are. Ah! There you are.
Asian, is it safe?
Just call me Asian. I'm not Asian. Asian! Take him out, take him out. Take him out, take him out. Take him out, take him out. Doop, doop, doop. You're done? You're done. You're almost done.
They're coming around.
You're done. Yeah. Darnia. Darnia. No, 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 no. Hey, what's up, bud? Hey, buddy. Trying to come in? What's up? Hey, come on in. Come on, hop along. How you doing? How you doing, buddy? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, it's time for lunch. Rescue these shitty ass civilians who do absolutely nothing but cry.
It's open. Come on, let's go.
It's open, come in, let's go. Yeah, good job. Loot. Loot, loot, loot. Alright, that's another one down. Down, another one down, another one bites the dust. Hey, gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust. You do, 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 do.
I've had a team analyzing the data you gathered at Kinley College. They discovered a threat we need you to investigate. You gathered at Kinley College. They discovered a threat we need you to investigate. You gathered at Kinley College.
They always have a threat that they need us to investigate because they're too lazy to do it themselves. Boop, boop, boop. Do-do, do-do, do-do. Do-do. Oh shit, Steve's coming. Ah. Woo! Alright. Let's see if there's any new content over at Kinley College. Well, that's what, 3 beers? Fucking cutscenes are stupid.
We still haven't located that mobile shade unit.
Ah, here we go.
Investigate the
Kinley
site and
College.
locate that server. Switching Isaac to investigation protocol. Good luck, Agent.
What's available here? Oh.
Investigation protocol.
Metro Station.
Activated.
Yeah! This is something new.
Warning. Tactical appraisals based on limited data may contain errors.
Isaac's investigation protocol collates data and creates an echo to give you some context on the available investigations.
Yeah, headshot. Boom, motherfucker. Alright, Kinley College, let's see what you got. Got to be a big shot, didn't ya? Do thing. Got no. Yeah. Alright, here we go. 4th beer, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, 4th beer.
No detected. Portable electronic device detected.
subway.
Hurry up! Or do you want to drown when we flood this fucking place?
Let's do deployed IED.
Investigation selected. Deployed IEDs. Triggering frequencies detected.
Isaac is picking up a high volume of encrypted frequencies. If each of these frequencies is an IED, they could decimate DC.
Could they though? Let's see. This. Okay, I see. Here.
IED detonator located.
Outcast is...
Narnia! Shazam!
Multiple improvised explosive devices located.
Oh.
IEDs are armed.
No shit. Oh.
The outcast must have rigged this place to blow. Find the IED detonator and shut it down.
Electronic device detected.
Oh, hey.
Explosive deactivated.
Up, jump! Jump, you bastard! Hi, two viewers. How are you? Toot. Toot, toot. Toot.
IED deactivated.
You can make it. You can make it if you try.
Terminals secure. Defend the terminals.
You okay?
Probably not okay.
See? We are the Constitution!
Sure you are. Big shot ninja. Yeah. Yeah. Narnia.
Justice is served!
Right there. Yep. Justice.
Explosives armed. Terminals secure. secure. Defend the terminals.
Goodbye,
IED armed.
They don't.
Terminals secure. Defend the terminals.
I'm gonna take you apart. What's this?
Sure you are. Ow. Out of time. There you are.
Improvised explosive devices disarmed. Network disabled.
Ah. Yeah, Jack, join me. New update's fun. We'll walk you through it. Gone for a while.
Whoever tried to detonate the IEDs must be close. Hunt them down and take them out.
Take them out. Alright. Where should we take them? Skiing? Ice skating? Then ice skating. Actually, joke's on me. I don't even know how to skate. This. Oh. Bye, drummer boy. And you're gone. Another one bites the dust.
Threat neutralized.
Thanks for getting that detonator offline. You can head back to the Echo.
Thanks, pal. Garbage. Oh, what was that? Loot. More loot. Complete investigation.
Deployed IEDs completed.
Oh, so Cody, I'm going to be on, where is it at? Discord, Div2 Clan Op, so if you want to hop in, feel free to hop in. Chemical tank.
Investigation selected. Large chemical tank.
Proteus was transporting some chemicals. In the wrong hands, they could be used to build explosives or in a chemical attack. We need to secure that tank.
Duh. but sure. Yeah. Figure out where could have gone with this. Oh. Boom, boom, boom.
Chemical tank detected.
Looks like the outcasts have the tank prepped for transport. If they get the metro line working, they'll have a direct line to DC.
Proteus to base. Mission failed. Outcasts have taken the site. They're using the hydrogen chloride we
Yeah,
recovered.
fair
to
enough,
design
Jack.
these
Fair
and
enough.
them with a remote detonator. Overheard one of the guys talking about using the shade server to mask the signal so they can use the metro to transport the IEDs into DC. I'm gonna try and recover the server. If anyone can hear this, do me a favor.
Riding
make it back,
the metro.
Tell Mom I'm sorry. They were right.
It contains some kind of methane. The liquid form is combustible, but the gas is supposed
Oh.
to be inert.
Woo!
Airborne toxin detected.
Narnia.
Good work on that tank, Agent.
Riding on the metro. I don't know that whole song by heart, but whatever. Yeah, I know. It came from the 80s. Ah!
Freezing.
Load.
Tank disabled. Airborne
Yeah.
toxin detected.
Ah!
Thank you for taking care of those tanks.
Narnia.
But some of the gas must have gotten into the ventilation system.
Yeah, no shit. Alright.
Local power grid compromised.
That IED knocked out the power grid. We
Oh,
need to get
how
power
the
back
hell did
online
it
and vent the
knock
gas.
out the power grid? Betcha. Your girlfriend was hot like. Beep, 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 beep. Girlfriend was freak like me, don't ya? Absolute garbage. Hello. I think it was that way. Run, 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 run. Get to town. Something, 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 something. Freeway down.
Just tell me the truth. I fucking hate this rumor mill bullshit.
Sarah's talking about quarantine procedures, advising people to wash their hands and stay home if they feel sick.
I've got at least 5 cases that aren't responding to treatment. I'm running out of beds and asked the president of the college to evacuate one of the dorms to set up the quarantine and cancel the derby ball.
He tell you to go fuck yourself?
Called me a fearmonger. Accused me of trying to create a panic so I get a raise. Fucking academia.
Well, it'll come out of his bonus when they have to pay the wrongful death lawsuits.
As satisfying as the idea of that chucklefuck losing his job is, I'd rather not be toe-tagging my kids.
I get you.
You have any casualties?
First one, yesterday.
How old?
4. Little blonde girl. Mom's an anti-vaxxer.
Ooh.
Thought kombucha and miso soup would cure her. When she finally brought her in, she'd lost 10 pounds and was severely dehydrated. Wasn't anything I could do. Her heart couldn't take the stress.
Oh, all that.
Power grid inoperative.
This electrical grid definitely doesn't pass code. Let's see if you can figure out how the system's wired and reboot it.
That was dumb. Power grid. Yay.
Reboot sequence incorrect.
Good dig. Ah.
Reboot failed.
Okay. B.
Reboot sequence incorrect.
Second, please. try again. Hey.
Power grid restored.
With the power back online, you can vent the tunnels.
Hello. I was just there. There. Yeah, here we go.
Airborne toxins at critical levels.
See if you can vent the area. I don't want you breathing that shit.
Extraction fan. Fan activated.
There we go.
Fan activated. Airborne toxin level decreasing.
Those tanks destroyed and the ventilation system back online. There's one less threat to DC. You can head back to the Echo. The air should be safe to breathe now.
Now.
Investigation. Large chemical tank completed. Investigation selected. Deployed military server.
The Outcast moved a military server to the water treatment facility. See if you can figure out what they're using it for.
Science? Maybe they're using it for science. Oh, thanks for the...
Remote access limited.
Sounds like you're gonna need to stay near the terminal so Isaac can infiltrate the system.
Carelessly.
Additional terminals detected. Infiltrating terminal. Unable to Unable to access system. Re-establish proximity.
Riding, whoa.
Infiltrated. Locating additional terminal.
This won't last!
Guys, please. boot.
Infiltrating terminal.
Not in good shape here. We took another hit.
Good job, turret.
Hey, shit! You wrong, that.
Terminal infiltrated. Hostile communications network compromised.
It doesn't sound good. This water treatment facility hasn't been maintained for months. Isaac is detecting a massive pressure buildup. You'll need to find a way to bleed the system.
Water pressure at dangerous levels. Mapping infrastructure. Multiple valves connected to main valve.
I'm not a plumber, but I guess you're gonna have to fix whatever's wrong with the valves before you can bleed the system.
Oh, no shit.
Pressure venting failed.
Oh, holy shit. Alright, gotta go fix that. It's gonna be, let's see. Help us solve this puzzle.
Pressure release failed. Pressure venting failed.
It, Okay, I think I might get it. It's gonna be dumb.
Pressure release failed.
That one here.
Water pressure vented. Threat neutralized.
That was stupid.
Hostile radio intercepted.
Division are trying to shut down the plant. Flood the system.
You need to get to the manifold.
Manifold.
Manifold malfunction detected.
There's no time to repair the system. You need to destroy the manifold to release the pressure.
Manifold access.
Already,
Analyzed. Pressure decreasing.
Yo, how's it going?
Access.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Not too much. Finally got that downloaded.
Yeah, it's a lot of updates in a short period of time.
Yeah, I haven't. I had to reinstall Windows a while back, and I haven't played it since. So, but here we go. Okay.
All right, I'm almost done with this mission. And you'll notice, like, once you get back in, there's like a ton of new missions up.
Oh, okay.
Well, ton, but
Structural integrity.
more like 2 or 3,
Some is better than none.
Manifold access available.
right? So how's life? How's things?
Just grinding away. Specifically, right now, the campaign. Just putting in
Pressure
the effort, seeing what kicks up. It's been pretty cool. I've been enjoying the work that's coming in. Hopefully tonight I'll have some at least a colored page to start pushing, so that'll be nice.
Oh, good shit.
You're done here. You can go back
I
to
got
the
well, I've been lettering,
but at least the outcast can't use it to flood the
as
campus.
you've seen. Still some like small minor edits that need to be done. Then it's good to go.
Nice.
Just hoping to get that out here.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I've taken a couple whacks at lettering. It's not my bag.
If it makes you feel better, like design is not my bag, lettering is not my bag. I've somehow managed to make it work.
That's how you do it, though. You know, you gotta kind of juggle until you've got it going. And yeah, you've definitely been doing a damn good job. I like your letters in the book.
Oh, thanks. It's been well, as you'll see, it's been like one huge learning curve.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
like
I bet.
in the beginning it was kind of like meh, and then it's gradually gotten better. That's what I hope everyone else sees.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing. Specifically, your flow on how the boxes line up and the dialogue bubbles line up and the flow. That's always been pretty good, but that's been getting better.
Well, thank you.
Got stuff, huh? Oh, look at the free stuff.
Safe area entered.
Right, I will wait for you to join.
Cool, right on. I'm just checking out the free stuff. Be right with you.
You know, while I have you here, I have to say there's like one thing I'm extremely jealous about you.
Oh?
Oh yeah.
What's that?
That you've managed to somehow dodge all this Twitter comics, Twitter drama.
It's true. I have no idea how. I think I really got in the back of everybody's mind, and nobody has found a angle of attack yet. There really isn't anything. And the one time they went after the one weak point, which was my publisher, yeah, I drug that out in public real quick and showed what I would show. You know, I got nothing to hide. So I think I don't know. I've been lucky.
You have, and I'm actually envious. I wish I was that lucky. Cause Trent and I was talking last night, and we really want to go back to the time when it was just, you know, us promoting other people, showing like, hell, hey, this guy's got something cool.
You are now group leader.
Buy his stuff.
A clan member has joined your team.
And just like promoting and not like worrying about shit. I just really want to go back to that, and we don't understand like, how the hell did we get here?
I have no idea either. A lot of, you know, once money starts getting played with, a lot of things get underhanded, get dirty, and get mean. And sometimes you do have to you get backed into a position you got to fight your way out of, and you guys have been pretty damn good at doing it in a way that isn't as scorched earth as it could be, which I appreciate. But it's a you guys have a lot bigger of an audience on you, both fans and just people watching what you're doing, and than I do, and that's another benefit of how I'm able to kind of skirt by. There's not as much attention, but yeah, I hope there's an ability to adapt and go back to that for you guys. I really hope people stop picking fights and just start making books.
Exactly. Like, I took a step back last night and I was looking at everything that goes on, and I think Sean says something that like kind of struck a chord. Like, who could have believed this? Because it all sounds ridiculous. And stepping back, like this is real ridiculous.
Oh no, it's insanity, and the lack of, a lot of this stuff. It's fine if it happens, whatever, but usually you keep that separate from the optics of what you're trying to do. You deal with that person privately, you deal with that incident however you can, but you keep it out of the public so you can continue to push your public persona and your works without that. And somehow this space isn't allowing that for a lot of creators, and a lot of creators just they find a lot of success and value in pushing that kind of engagement.
Yeah, I would much rather not have that engagement.
Oh,
And
so much.
and like I've been like I'd rather not be in the middle of any of this. But that part of it involves like business associates of mine that I don't know why I feel the need to protect them or defend them, but I just do. Just like say if anyone were to go after you, I would totally defend you like in a heartbeat.
Well, I appreciate that. I want to say the same, except it takes my degree of what will take me to action is a much higher degree. For instance, I would first do it privately. I would see what kind of thing I could work out. But on a lot of these. A lot of this, especially with you guys, I don't know. It was just some shit luck or what, but that you guys got pinned into it so early without even wanting to be part of any of it, and it's just been dug into all these quote unquote activists. I'm going to call them because that's kind of what they're trying to do. It's been dug into the back of their mind, so they keep kind of pushing that way, and the things that were kept quiet and kept behind closed doors were not in terms of anybody knowing what was said, but that something happened, and that really ended up being a problem too. Tim has been great with me. I love Tim, and putting Jack's first real printed public appearance is in Trump Space Force, and there's a lot of goodwill and energy there, and that's the part of comics I like is all the engagement with artists, with just the marketing, with talking to folks. That is the good stuff, and you don't have to have the other stuff. Unless you're being drug into it, or that's the angle you want to market from, I think. And I don't know. It's way rougher than I would have ever assumed it to be when I jumped into this last year.
Same. You hit the nail on the head, man.
Yeah, it's just so much goddamn rougher, and people are just cruel. God damn it, they don't need to be.
It's cutthroat. It's so cutthroat, and it's seriously. I was not expecting any of this to be as cutthroat as it was.
Yeah, no, me either. I have no idea. Again, that's I've been lucky to find a good group of folks, people like, and been able to integrate into Team Ironverse Comics. I'm sure that helps a little bit. But it's I am lucky that I haven't been. Nobody's found a reason to go after me. They've only found one slight reason that was made up and had nothing to do with anything with my publisher. And I squashed that real quick and real heavy and real publicly. And then once one time, Late Night Comics came at me. That was the other angle. But of course. Of course, Troy had my back on that one, so that cooled down quickly. But just the fact that we have to deal with the politics in addition to creating, that bugs the hell out of me.
Same. Like, Rags should not have been, you know, anything other than what it is, and that it was kind of dragged into, I guess you want to say, like, we got dragged into it as a diversity shield. We shouldn't have ever been dragged into it like that.
No, not at all. It's just the fervor and ignorance and the lack of open mind in the general public these days. And it all comes from fear and insecurity. That's why they look for groups. That's why they look for this. But this and that, and that's why they fight for the group and not for themselves. Things like that. But that's what it was, and that's awful. And I really nobody. The project should stand on its own, and that's what should matter. But nowadays it's the personalities, and they wanted to drag a very a pointless characteristic as you said, a shield, and it's just what the hell.
Yeah, it's been. I don't know how I feel anymore because on one end, like, if you were to ask me maybe like 2 years ago, like, would you throw down in Comicsgate, I would honestly have been like, oh yeah, like, fuck yeah, because the principles I stand by, right? But then all the stuff that's happened since the May of last year, it's like, who the hell are these? What am I fighting for, really?
Well, I showed up right after Zach kicked the door down for us and got a lot of awareness out there, and I got to feel that, and then the Cyber Frog energy came on in, and that's been kind of that's been a main focal point. That's it hasn't been as smooth as it could have been had Ethan been a more tactful fellow.
Or a more honorable fellow.
Probably because of its broadcasting.
Like, I'm not gonna stand, like, more honorable. Like, I'm not gonna stand here and act like I'm perfect 100% on anything, because I've made huge mistakes, huge other things, right? But it's just like owning up to that has been like the problem. And we shouldn't have, like, Black Ops as far as comic books are concerned.
What the fuck?
Like, comic book Black Ops is like the dumbest thing. Yeah.
It's just, again, a terrible combination. My game's running like shit. Give me a sec. I gotta tweak some more settings. My comp is not really not great for this, but I had it in the zone before I had to reinstall Windows. Let's see if I can get it there again.
Yep, no worries. I'll just hold it down till you get good. Oh, hi! Thanks for the follow.
Yo, yo.
But, man, I really can't wait till I get finished with this initial run.
Yeah, yeah, you'll see. You got plenty of time to readdress Rags down the line if you want to. But yeah, I think moving forward will be a big thing. And I am really looking forward to getting fisted.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to see people's reaction to that. I did get some good feedback from another person who I really respect.
Until you can find.
And they said, like, this kind of takes a little bit long to get into, which is fine. But I'm really going for, like, the manga style storytelling on this one. So I don't want to like show my full hand until like everything's ready to go.
In this, we're doing that manga style with Cactus. I'm really looking forward to see be that part of what we've been waiting for somebody else to read fucking back to. It's just been sitting in my hand before this. And, it's about time. We knocked it out. And I really want to what other people think.
Yeah, I can't wait for people to see Luigi's manga style. It's amazing. Speaking of, I'm actually looking at using Raven more as a colorist.
Oh, neat. I've been liking her you know, the preview pieces you're doing and the character mock-ups. Those have been looking really nice.
Oh yeah, I just can't. If only we were at a better spot to where we could actually like do 2 projects at once.
An agent has reconnected.
What I'm impressed is you guys still have the perpetual. Your perpetual motion machine is in motion. That's what I'm super impressed by. You guys have been able to forge your own path on that and been able to get your funding without having to campaign. The campaigning bits in the ass, and it is not sustainable.
No, I think Shane said it in an interview with George. You know, like your first campaign should easily be a Indiegogo or whatnot, and then everything after that should be like a Patreon or Subscribestar sort of a deal. And honestly, I would move completely over to Subscribestar if I could, but Patreon actually has the better back-end stuff, and I know how people feel about Patreon, so it's kind of hard to like leave that platform until like they ban me completely.
Yeah, I doubt they will. Honestly, they're just gonna throw the hammers down for what is kind of easily in their sights, what they want out of their platform, and I doubt a indie comic book, as long as it's not completely some kind of moral outrage for somebody there, then it's not gonna matter. They want the money too.
Right.
And honestly, I did do both, have both Patreon and Subscribestar. I'm really lucky. My Patreon pays for my little bit to get my rags, which is super stoked. But the Subscribestar's got no movement. I don't really like the interface. I don't, you know, it still has a little bit to prove itself, honestly. Patreon, though, you don't have to like what they're doing. They have proved themselves as a good business model for a lot of small businesses.
Yeah. If Subscribestar had like the back end stuff that I needed for rags, like benefit tracker, that's the big one. You know, track what benefits, you know, backers are supposed to be getting at the time. That would be awesome. But they don't have that at the moment, so it's kind of hard to just jump ship, if you will.
Yeah, no, I can 100% see that. It's a hell of a thing running a small business, let alone in the arts and let alone in comics at the moment, which is it's a dying industry. Print is a dying industry.
It really is. It honestly really is.
I mean, it'll always have a space, but trying to maintain that space and grow it at this point is a way more uphill battle than probably in comics history.
Yeah, like, so...
Hold it, Agent. There's another computer.
I don't know if you've actually seen our numbers. They're not like Marvel great, like tens of thousands upwards that way. But we've beat out like what's that one popular DC one that was new that came out? Silencer. We beat out Silencer on issue 4.
on issue 4 too.
Yeah,
That's
like
great.
we beat out like a bunch of like big two sort of comic books, right?
Agent down.
But the problem is, you know, no one's so like Marvel and DC have this thing where they're always going to hit every comic book shop out there. So they're automatically going to get 10,000 for like a POS book, no matter what. So we got to fight, you know, with, hey, we got to get more shops actually ordering the book before we actually make a profit off of it. And then one big criticism we've gotten was like that we double dip because we do censored and uncensored. Well, with the way profits and everything work, double dipping's kind of, I don't want to say like a necessary thing, but you shouldn't dump all your eggs in one basket, if you will.
No, 100% with that. And honestly, I wouldn't call it double dipping. I'd say it's maximizing your potential for growth. But it's you got to do what you can to sustain this. You want to pay your artists. You want to keep making books. You want to extend your audience. You want to make new books. All of that comes with a price, and you have to find your way to pay it.
Oh, most definitely.
Now, for double dipping, I'm assuming that's just from like speculators and collectors that are complaining about that. Because as a reader, I want as many options as possible out there to, you know, to satisfy whatever need I need at that time.
Other creators, they are kind of poking at us like, oh, you're just double dipping because you do this censored and uncensored. Not fully realizing that the censored version is the way it's supposed to be read.
Yeah,
And the only reason why we
from what
did the
you were telling me.
uncensored was because people asked for it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing too. I mean, it's your project, and if this is an angle you want to take, then I mean, I think that's just coming from jealousy, in my opinion, just because they didn't build a book that can leverage that angle. You guys did, and it's a wonderful angle, and it's actually part of a storytelling device. It's a right way to do it. I think it's just honestly, I do think that's just I didn't think of that, and I can't do it, so it's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew doing indie comics was going to be like this, I probably would never have done it.
It certainly would have given me more trepidation. What I was worried about was the social media aspect. And that has been the worst bit, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And just being able to get my books and see my books, that's been enough. Get all these teams, get people paid. That's extremely satisfying to me. But yeah, it's the political end is the no question.
And the fun part for me is like, Rags is not a political book at all. So there should not ever be anything political about it. But here we are. It's the weirdest thing.
I'm sending out the drone.
Yeah, bugs me too. I'm gonna see what people. Issue 2's got. It's not political, but Jack as a character is. If somebody wants to take a look into what I'm trying to do with him, they could find a stink if they wanted. And especially with the world we're building, it's not 100% PC friendly if you're going with the very fascist definition of what's publicly consumable.
Right. Which, speaking of, and it's something that's kind of blown both my mind and Trent. you've read issue 3, right?
Yeah, I am current as far as I know. I think I have up to issue 4.
So we are surprised that nobody made a big stink about the end of the last page of issue 3.
Nobody? 'Cause
Nobody.
I remember even your publisher gave you a little bit before they're like, okay, fine, do it.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of a, hey, we think you might want to change this, and I was like, nah, it's the character. And then that was just like, that was like the only stink about it.
That's great. It's because your audience, the people who are going to go pick it up, aren't always new. So a lot of them know what they're buying into, and they just want more of it. And Operator's introduction there is just...
I feel it just sets the tone for, like, the character he is.
At this point, people like hearing that kind of thing. They're hearing the exact opposite all the goddamn time at this point. So it's kind of nice to hear, you know, there's more than one opinion. And Jack number 2, one of the main things I pounded through is nobody should tell you there's no other
Galactus
way.
have been busy here. Search that computer and pocket whatever useful data you can find.
So closed-mindedness is a real big curse these days. In the name of open-mindedness, closing your mind.
I always felt like if you can't have a character that is a complete utter piece of shit, like everyone is PC, then that's just, it's boring.
Oh, that's terribly boring. I'm 100% with that, and even Marvel's seeing that. The writers that are actually getting notice aren't they're not vanilla, but they're barely chocolate in terms of you know, having some flavor to it. But it's not you know, a chili pepper. It's nothing stand out. It's nothing crazy, and that's really sad to see when that kind of exposure is exactly what right now the world needs, in my opinion. You need different. We need a continuation of different and widening opinions getting out there.
Right, like you need multi-layered characters, not just everyone's of the same opinion. But you could also, you know, like we use Operator's personality as like a teachable moment. Where oh man, this. Whereas, you know, he actually changes throughout the story, but the change is subtle. And I know you've read like from beginning to end, so you know. Watch behind you.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try and tank it. Yeah, no, he's got a killer arc. Legitimately, I really do enjoy that arc.
Like, I honestly didn't expect him to be one of my favorite characters I created. Like, his entire purpose was just to be like a foil to Regina. But he turned into something different, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've kind of been building up that partner dynamic, so that Mulder Scully kind of feel that you know, that bit, and so if that was even subconscious, I'm sure it was going to kind of get built in no matter what you were trying to build, and I think it's been being executed really well so far, and what I've read, I think it's executed very well overall.
I just can't wait for issue 6. That's gonna be hilarious.
We're showing Black Tusk activity on the roof. We can't afford to leave any hostile elements in the building.
Yeah, I'm certainly excited to get my full collection of rags and then maybe that sweet ass trade paperback.
Which, if everything goes right, might be able to pull off a hardback at a very low cost.
Ooh, that sounds sexy. I would like to see that.
Might take some dirty deals, but I think I can pull it off.
Well, whatever to get the job done.
An agent needs assistance. Serious trauma detected. Agent down.
Find you, get down.
Agent down. Agent killed.
That worked out.
Yeah, that was rough. Round 2.
Medical assistance needed.
Changing targets.
So I really haven't had a chance to speak about this, but I got a chance to talk to Ben Dunn, the guy who started Antarctic Press and whatnot.
Yeah, wasn't he at Comic-Con?
Yes!
Yeah, I saw
And
the photos. Very cool.
oh, dude, it was so awesome. Like, he drew Regina as Zetra Black, and that's like been a dream come true right there.
So
Which-
cool.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. That was I almost cried. That's how amazing it was. But Antarctic's pretty much written me a blank check as far as if I come up with a new idea and I want to like publish it and go through them, it's free game. All I gotta do is turn it in.
Right on. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just
those
I don't know how
assholes.
I can actually use that so it can help everybody else. Because that's always been my goal.
Well, you start knocking out ideas you like, and you go from there, I'd assume.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to...
Mr. Lister?
Yeah, like, I don't want people to think like, oh, in order to get your book on the shelf, you have to come through me. Like, there's other methods and ways of doing it. But right now, I have a blank check, so I can pretty much turn it in anything and say that it's mine. Well, not say that's mine, but you know what I mean.
I think I get what you're walking towards.
Excellent work.
That's very cool. Yeah, I have no ideas in terms of what in particular Ironverse Comics. One of my things that I don't know if publishers are actually up for, but one of the things I kind of want to do with that is get my titles, our comics, under as many publishers as possible to kind of bridge the indie community, and get people looking at other books all over the place through our shared universe. But I don't know how practical that is. We're looking at a lot of things. We're not signing with Wicked for Cactus at the moment. We're going to try and do it all ourselves. That was Darkcoin's thinking is if we can do it ourselves once, then we can kind of see where our footing is. But there's I definitely would love to see Jack in some stores, and that at the moment isn't on the table without straight up groundwork.
There, yeah. I
Considering what we
think
know
it might
about
be
that
possible.
place, that can't be good. Smart for you on your map.
I know that
An agent has left your group.
I know Antarctic's got like a couple of new things that they're trying to do. They're trying to put out like a superhero line and
Yeah, I'm
some other
assuming
stuff.
Punchline is kind of like the flagship of that, right?
I actually, honestly, I don't know. That might
Okay,
be.
interesting. Because when I think of Antarctic Press superhero titles, I think of
Yeah, unfortunately, no one thinks of us, but that's by design.
Exactly. I was gonna say you ain't there yet. You ain't there yet.
No, I think I'm not sure what you would actually classify us as, because it's everything yet nothing.
I kind of get what you mean. Yeah, it's certainly not a stock standard superhero fare. It's not a titty book. It's not a zombie apocalypse book per se. It's not a slice of life, but it has some elements of that. Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of everything there.
We can defend ourselves against anyone.
Like I was lucky. There's a catch-all term for what I'm working in called Weird Western. It'll eventually evolve into a space western in particular, but at the moment it's just a Weird Western, and that's a pretty wide catch-all phrase. So it's easy for me to communicate what the genre is to folks.
Yeah,
Even though
lucky.
within that genre, it's very much a high fantasy science fiction tale, and it's almost I've been told it's kind of like building a Lord of the Rings-esque kind of world. So that's why I've been trying to use the word high fantasy again, just to kind of reclaim that a bit. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough there, and with Rags, I would just call it a military book, because at the end of the day, that's kind of where you're landing it. Yeah.
Yeah, military fiction.
There you go. That's kind of what it is, and it's an allegorical military fiction.
Very accurate description.
But there's got to be some
We wanna get
fun,
Isaac
wacky
back
elements
online
coming
across
down
the
the line.
country.
I'm waiting
We need to
for you
reconnect
guys
the
to
local
introduce,
system to the satellite
down the
network.
road,
We should be able
if we
to
can
do
keep
that
your
at the
ass in the
NOAA
trenches here
headquarters
with us.
Get to the control room.
Uh,
Through the process
not
from there.
gonna speak on that for now.
It's all good. radio silence is a decent answer sometimes too.
It's because something I learned at San Diego Comic-Con, and I haven't been able to speak about this much. But if you look at looking at our demographics between Twitter, social media, and then who actually buys the book, because I was approached by at least 2 or 3 comic book shop owners that are like, "Oh my god, dude, we cannot keep this on the shelf." So with
Really?
Yes.
The same people who probably sell Vertigo comics with rape, murder, demon possession, all that shit.
yeah, there's a
Fucking tits.
there's 2 or 3 comic book shop owners when I was at Comic-Con. They're like, "Oh, hey, you've made an amazing work. We can't keep this on shelves."
Well,
And then
I
I've
guess
also
when
spoken to the guys like at CoverPrice.com and some of the speculator market sort of sites, and talking stuff over with them, and it turns out that about 20% of our base, which is like the Twitter, social media stuff, those are the loudest, angriest voices. The other 80%, are just people that buy the book to enjoy it. So having kept that in mind, it's like, things aren't as bad as they look.
That's been my thing the entire time with all of this. Again, it's that insecurity creeping in,
The control room is confidential.
and artists naturally have it. There's just no way about it. You put part of your soul out on the line, you're going to be a little bit afraid of doing that. It's just how it works. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's the perception, the engagement, that is a fault. You gotta look beyond that and be able to see what's really going on. I'm glad you've got the contacts to do so. I'm just assuming so.
Yeah, for now. I know I've told the story where I'm doing like the F mic variant for CGC.
F Mike there, you know?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I told that story.
You probably did.
Alright, I'll tell it again real quick. So at Comic-Con, I was trying to get a artist agreement so I can get verified as a artist, so I can get signature series stuff done.
Oh,
And as I took the book to CGC to get all that stuff verified, they were like, "Oh, hey, we've seen this book come through a half dozen times, and we all have no idea what it's about. Like, can you let us know what it's about?" And I told the guys what it was about, short version. And they're like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then I told them I was going to, like, one of their workers, his name was Mike, and there's a whole story behind this, but I was talking to a guy named Brian who shares my name, and this guy Mike was like, "Oh, my name is Mike, I'm actually awesome," and me and Brian were like, "No, Brian's are the only awesome people." So we conspired together to make this F Mike variant. There's gonna be like 3. I'm only gonna make 3 of them. It's basically gonna be Regina killing a guy from CGC. And
that's pretty funny.
right, and I'm only gonna do about 3 of those, but it just goes to show, there are people out there watching you. You're not actually sure that are watching you and are actually rooting for your success.
Yeah, I've got a tale about that actually involves Comic-Con too. I was asked to be on a Weird Western panel this year if I was going. That was a trip for me. Of course, I wasn't going. I wasn't registered, but I was humbled as shit.
Oh, you want to know what actually scared the pants off of me? I met Doug TenNapel while I was at San Diego Comic-Con, right? He actually came to the booth, right? And he asked me to be part of his panel. I pussied out.
Coward.
Yeah, like I'm not afraid to say it. I was a coward at that point. It was just
No, but I get you. There's a lot there too at that time. If I was in your position, I probably would have said fuck it because I'm there. But and because there's a specific work of Doug's that doesn't get talked up enough. that I really enjoyed called Iron West, and I would have liked that to have come up. But yeah, I could see that, specifically at that time period too. I do not blame you.
Vital signs critical.
Yeah, it was
Agent out of
crazy. Guy coming on your right. But I was just like one of those things that made me realize, like, oh my god, I'm actually more, I don't want to say famous, but known than I actually
Now
believed.
known.
Yeah.
It doesn't take, well, like you were saying, you beat out a DC title. Probably more than one, honestly, but you beat out a relatively new, pretty popular DC title.
Yeah, it's nuts. Oh, Silencer. Silencer was the title.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
Should've stayed out of it, Agent.
So that's just, it's a slow grind, but you just gotta stay true to your path, whatever that path is, and adapt and change it as need be, and you'll be fine. That's what I'm trying to do, and so far I've been all right. See how that goes?
Right. Oh, hey, it's up, Securance 100. Oh, by the way, I'm streaming on Twitch.
No, I knew I was here earlier. Don't worry about it. That's why I've been pretty choosy with my work.
Oh, same here. I
have
gotta
great
often
interview
remind
with
myself that I'm a professional now.
Luckily, I was kind of beat that country boy politeness into me, so I don't have to worry too much about not too much. I always try to just because it's natural. I'm not I hate conflict. If I can shake somebody's hand rather than punch them, no matter who the fuck they are, I'd probably rather shake their hand.
Oh, thanks for the follow, man. Yeah, most definitely. Like, conflict, it really doesn't breed anything. Except for just people yelling at each other, especially over the internet. And comic books.
Right, it's a that's why I try to use the term funny books a little bit more, try and put less of a serious connotation, because even comic, the word, it's funny. That's the bit, and I haven't laughed with any comic title for a while in terms of the work.
Well, hopefully this issue we will get you laughing, or if not
Oh,
this
yeah,
issue,
of course.
issue 6.
And of course, there's been some good comedy within comics I've read, but in terms of there being that kind of people take it too goddamn serious, again, because of insecurity and because of money. But
Oh yeah.
by name, by its very origin, by its very title, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be goofy. It's a lark. It took forever for it not to just be a kid's thing, you know. That's kind of relatively recent. In all honesty, I think like Vertigo was one of the first to kind of kick down that. Besides the off presses, the really tiny publishers at that time. Or somebody's really making it not fun for you.
Oh yeah. And again, it just, I don't know how I got dragged into all this, but here we are.
You're one of the better titles at the beginning that people had already latched onto with similar ethics, and certainly not a publicly consumable face. And so, hey, he's one of us. That means he's one of us, right? We can use him.
We can use them, make them stronger, faster, blacker.
Yeah.
You're still gonna have to adjust each dish, but this
Oh,
will
man.
speed up the process.
That shit, yeah, gotta let it roll over your back, or, do how you've been doing it. Let them fucking know how to respect you properly. But, yeah, because you let it roll too long, sometimes it builds. But, yeah, I don't know. I could say I'm lucky I didn't end up your position, and I know why you guys envy me so far, but I envy your sales. That's what I envy.
Fair. Want to trade?
Well, I mean, I would squash your bit, and if you could get my sales up, yeah, let's do that.
So it's actually easy, and I don't understand why people don't do this more often.
Well,
Oh.
I've tried a little bit, but I just don't have the natural acumen, maybe not natural, or the research or the talent, whatever it took. I ain't got it.
Hey, keep in mind, I've been doing this since like 2016-ish, and I started with nothing back then, so
Even compared to that, even you were still kind of a baby with even that amount of experience. But yeah, there's more to learn, more to adapt, and that's one of the parts I do enjoy this. When as long as I don't get my ass kicked or make a real wrong move, should be able to keep learning.
oh, definitely. Well, if I can get this whole printer situation locked down better, that's been like my one biggest hiccup. Because everything else has been spot on and perfect. That's just been the one uncontrollable thing that I've been able to, well, control.
Yeah, I saw Tim's kind of working on an angle there somehow. I'm interested to see how Iconic kind of moves forward. I definitely got my ear to the ground on that.
Well, so that is actually a friend of his. And if everything works out right, the guy will be able to print and distribute books, for you, and it will be a service for indies that's like much needed.
Oh yeah, no question. And that's the biggest fucking hole right now. I got to makeshift that with Wicked, and they've been doing their best, being newbies just like me. But yeah, I could get. Literally, it's been almost 2 months of stalls now on the book. That's completely, and that's just unacceptable. But I have to accept it. I have to move forward, and just learn and pivot from it. But yeah, again, learning, watching, see how that goes, because that is exactly what indie needs.
Right, and if I can just get on that and leverage it a bit more, I'm good. I'm so good to go. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the printer that I'm using, but I think I broke them.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that's part of my problem too with Wicked and these guys, is that Wicked expanded very quickly. They've been printing a lot of books through this guy, and it's literally one guy, and he hand staples every book.
Yeah, they need to.
So that's, I mean, the quality's good. The books are actually really, really good, but that whole bit causes unnecessary stalls in the creative process and the marketing process and the financial process. Everything comes to a damn halt, and out of the creator's hands. And who is that frustrating?
Oh, who are you telling? Like, so we did this thing, like we had like a scavenger hunt on Patreon and Discord, right? To see who paid attention the best. And we had this thing where, oh hey, we're going to do 2 secret variants, and there's only going to be about 5 of them each. And then from that, there's going to be winners, yada, yada, yada. So the problem there was, I directed my printer that, hey, out of these 5, there's going to be at least 1 that doesn't have a back cover on it, because we're doing the metal cover for it. And that's how that was intended. And somehow that got misconstrued into some other stuff. And so I've been having to go back and ensure that, hey, these things that got jacked up aren't jacked up anymore. So like the Easter variant ended up not having a back cover, and it's like, oops, that's actually an error.
but I like it. It's exclusive. Maybe it'll be worth something to some.
Yeah, and that was the funny
Error.
thing. That was actually the funny thing. So I was at Comic-Con, and one of the Patreons that showed up, and he was talking to me about it, and I was letting him know, like, yeah, just let me know what your mailing address is, and I'll send you a new one. And he's like, wait, so this is a rare? I'm like, no, it's jacked up. He's like, so it's rare. Like, no, it's jacked up. He's like, so it's rare? I'm like, oh god, no, it's a mistake, it's an error. And I wasn't getting what he was throwing down at the time. And then it finally clicked. Like, oh man. There's, like, I still don't understand comic book collection as well as I probably should.
Oh yeah, me either. I buy to read, not to.
Yeah, same here. Like, I buy to read, or, like, if something's good, I'll hang on to it and share with folks. I don't understand, like, the flipping
the
market.
Financial aspect, yeah.
Yeah,
that
like, I don't understand that.
In fact, I made sure to announce our print numbers only because of the lessons you guys learned.
Right? Like, who would have thought that was actually a thing?
That caused a kerfuffle. That was a hell of a thing.
It was like the weirdest thing. Like, really? You guys are mad about this?
It was an easy thing to squash too, which was kind of nice. But it very quickly was a bigger thing than I thought it could have ever had been for like a small indie creator just putting out a book.
Yeah, same here. And the thing that was funny about that, it was once people realized, like, oh, we're not like some Marvel backed or DC backed, creative team. Like, they seriously backed off a lot. Like, oh, like, yeah, we're literally indie. Like, we just kind of did this out of the backyard.
We're learning on the fly here. Yeah, no, I get that. And luckily, again, I've been lucky enough to learn from the folks around me at least a little bit, and see. I'm hoping I got ahead of that issue, and if Jack becomes something interesting, the Indiegogo is a very small print run, so it should be worth at least what the people paid to back it, which would be the way to make this slightly more sustainable. Of course, that would be marketing specifically to the speculator market. But again, as we were talking about, you kind of got to find how you can make the money to pay your artists and keep working. And if that's an angle that works, I'm going to hop on it.
Same here. It just,
Immediate medical assistance needed.
guess resetting the morals?
Agent
My moral code?
incapacitated.
Yeah, that is a thing. That is a thing.
Because one, I don't want people to get taken advantage of, but at the same time, if that's a thing, I don't want to interfere.
If you're trying to, like, you had at least an instance, a fellow warrior, and he couldn't get a hold of the book because of that is bullshit. I'm 100% with you there. That was one of the main issues. You should be able to just send him a book if you want to fucking send him a book. And that is an issue. And I don't want that either. But the fix is multiple print runs. That's just that's how you do it. But in your case, because you do some print on demand, it should also be more fluid than that for you guys.
Oh yeah, especially now that I've got my Photoshop skills improved.
Yeah, I'm not even doing variant covers with the reprints. I'm simply just changing small details on the cover so that speculator actually has to pay attention. You have to be involved with the work to kind of know if you're buying something old or new. And we'll see how that works for a minute or two. There's only going to be 2 versions as far as I'm concerned. If we do another print run, a third after the public, then I'll be talking maybe a variant or varying the logo or something. Still working on Ironverse Comics logo. That might be for the 3rd print run. Little things, but it doesn't have to be a full-on cover. It just has to. You have to have some differential for those speculators to be like, yeah, no, that's not the one that's worth something.
Right.
And then that way, the ones that aren't worth something stay cheap for people to get a hold of.
Like, I don't know if you heard about, like, our Onyx edition.
I saw that. I saw Shane post his copies. Looks pretty. That's a real nice cover.
So there's actually an explanation for that one. So we've been asked to do those sort of covers for comic shops as a comic store exclusive. Like, oh yeah, my shop wants to have like a nude cover that's exclusive just for the store. And the amount of requests just kind of came off like as real exploitive. So my thing is, if we're gonna do that, it might as well just be us that's doing it.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I get you there.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to do everything in my power to, you know, support the LCS. But the way they asked about it was real scummy.
You had shared some of those. It's yeah, that would bug the hell out of me too. Again, you're gonna be walking in that territory with just what rags is. But
Yeah.
But like I'm not gonna have to worry about that. I don't have sexy art. I have stylized art. I don't have. Cactus Coyote might actually end up going towards that way. It's it's a manga. It's got its waifus, but with that, there's a certain tact that it's that I don't like being disrespected either. That's one of the things that sets me off very much, and why almost more than the delays with my book that have come. That more so than that, I feel that it disrespects the creative team, disrespects what I'm trying to do, and disrespects the work, the story, just a whole lot. And that's what frustrates me, almost more so again than the delays.
Oh, same, very same. Because one of the things that I get really upset about, and I think you saw me, I don't want to say argue, but discuss this with Jimmy, was like just the attention to detail for the cover art contest, right? I didn't say like, oh, Regina needs to be in her onesie, but I definitely said that, hey, she needs to have her 2 weapons. Now, how people depicted her wielding 2 weapons was up to them, and I wasn't trying to be totalitarian and saying like, you have to draw this way. But if you could put 2 and 2 together, that's you should be able to say like, oh, okay, she's got to have 2 weapons, we'll put it in there. It was all about like how you could follow directions. And for me, it was mostly about seeing how well people understood a character.
Serious trauma.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I get you 100% on that. It shows, how involved they are with your work, and it feels good. And also, as an artist, if I was doing that, that's one of the ways to hedge your bets. Really pay attention to detail. Make your work, recognizable to the people who originally did it.
Right, and it was just like little things like Regina's got to be left-handed. Regina's got to be the tallest person in the room. And I've seen people circumvent this by drawing her sitting down or kneeling or whatever. And it's like, come on, guys, draw her tall. It's not that big. It's not that hard. Like, I don't know what it is about. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's like, I don't know what it is about people drawing a female that is going to be taller than the male lead.
It's odd. I don't think I ever would have noticed that. That's very interesting. I mean, like Big Barda, that's one of her whole shticks, and God, what they did to New Gods recently. But I could see. Yeah, I don't want to get into that. But with that, that was one of her best characteristics. When she's next to Mr. Miracle, she is intimidating as fuck. Same with like She-Hulk. It's a character trait, and it shows it conveys a sense of strength that can really very, very nicely contrast with femininity. And I think Regina conveys that very well within the books.
Right, and I have to poke Luigi sometimes to remind him, like, hey, remember, Regina should always be like the tallest person in the room, or at least the tallest female in the room. Because Operator he's not short, but he's not tall either.
Immediate medical
and then you see like okay, like our GI Joe cover. I'm not sure if you saw the image for that, but compared to but compared to Operator, Regina in that one looks like a midget.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the art is done very well. It's done professionally. It's a great cover. But that's like one of the few criticisms I could throw at it. It's like, well, that and the one finger grenade pull, but that's a military thing.
But yeah, no. See, I'm a little bit opposite with Jack. Exactly what you're talking about with variant covers. That's part of the work. It's a different thing, but I've never really had this solid fluid, because his world, everything's falling apart and all new things. That fluid outfit, that fluid bit, as long as you're conveying a cowboy in armor, you're kind of getting them right. And he is akimbo. He's right and left-handed. It doesn't matter which he's using. In the books, he doesn't use akimbo. He doesn't have to kill that much so far. Might change when he ends up in space. I don't know. But the main point is with Jack, it's a different story. And I appreciate the one that you're going for to really hammer in Regina's character.
Oh, thanks. Because, again, she doesn't do any akimbo. Operator doesn't do any akimbo. And so neither of them should be depicted doing akimbo. Yet,
Yeah, no, that's
and
not
yet
a
you
military
get-
thing. That's not a real-life thing, akimbo. Jack is a super... That's kind of why it would work. He's an old guy. He gets bored. He trains his other hand. And shooting's basically breathing at this point.
right, and then, like, if I were to do something crazy with Operator, it would be something stupid like shooting his pistol upside down with his pinky. Because that's actually something that's been done.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
So the story behind that one is when I was with JCSC, which is they support special operations, blah blah blah. One of the
Right.
guys, when we were going to go shoot at the range, well, he had to go qualify on his pistol, and the way he did it was he actually did it with his pinky and firing the weapon upside down. And I asked him, like, why did you shoot like that? And he's like, I got bored. He could do it the other way normally, but it wasn't a challenge for him. So something like that, yeah, totally. But when you have, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, as I'm trying to depict a military person that does military things, they need to do them the right way. And when that gets depicted wrong, I'm not trying to be an a-hole. It's just
No,
these
I'm
things.
with you. And also, especially, again, your target audience and who this book's really for, they appreciate that. I can guarantee it.
Oh, definitely.
It makes it feel more part of them. And in that case, I'm sure it helps it feel more part of you.
Oh, for real.
And that's what matters. That's my favorite part about art, is seeing all these unique expressions from all these different people and how they go about it. And that's one of the best things in life, honestly, is people are the worst and the best thing in life. And I always try to look at the best first.
I wish I could.
Well, you've been places I haven't. You've seen things I haven't. And I totally get that. And I'm a good bit younger than you two. I have a good amount of time for like
I'll
to
send
kick
a
my
team to
ass a bit
secure the
more.
train.
Fair. But you know, there are days where I would wish I just wasn't like the grumpy old man.
Plus, that's the time you breathe and you decide to act differently if you can. That's that's the only way you could train yourself to kind of think that way. But it's not an easy thing. Changing personality isn't something that sometimes is even doable. So it's again, just you gotta walk your own path best way you can, direct it the best
Lactose
way you
units are
can,
setting
and
up an Air and Space Museum.
try not
We
be
need to
a
take
be
them
a
out.
complete asshole to everybody around the way. If you're being good to a few people and asshole to everybody else, you're still doing it right.
Oh, fair.
Hostile broadcast picked up.
I don't think I've ever been an a-hole to anybody, like, on purpose. It's usually been reciprocated.
I'd
An
assume
agent
so.
has left your group.
Like, I don't necessarily agree with the statement John De La Rose said, I think this morning. But I kind of...
John's a little bit aggro too. I was in a group chat with him for a while, and I just got sick of hearing. I'm assuming it would be like being in a war campaign group chat a little bit, and I don't enjoy that. That's not why I'm here. That's not why I make books. It's not why I interact with people. It's not why I put my privacy and my soul on the line. All of that was to put positivity in the world and to show my spirit a little bit to the world, and the rest of that isn't for me.
Same. But there's like one thing he said that I kind of agree with, and that's, just because someone gives you money doesn't necessarily make you a punching bag.
Oh no, not at all. But it also doesn't mean you have to give them any time, any of your existence. Fuck them. They want to treat you like shit. Well, you don't have to treat them anything at all. And that's been my approach, though. Again, luckily, I there's 2 instances in this year, and that's it. And then that weird chat thing I have saved that was just, it threw me for such a fucking loop. And I still don't know what the hell was going on there. But it's just be like water. Let it flow around you, and crash when you need to. But otherwise, you can flow on through that. Especially the bigger and more professional you are, the less likely any of that shit's gonna stick.
Right.
But yeah, no, I get you, and it is not a license to be a punching bag. And though you are there to serve the customer up to a point, the product is still your art in this case. You're not serving them a burger. You're not going to take back the book and remake it for them. That's not this relationship. This relationship is an artistic one, and if you want to see what the art the teams are putting out, then please support us, engage us. But otherwise, I don't think you're going to be doing too much good. Constructive criticism is some of my favorite. I'm still waiting on some, goddammit. That's another thing that I'm waiting for the fucking issue 2 to get out for us, because issue 2 got like 0 feedback for me to learn from besides that it was good. That bugs the hell out of me.
Oh, same here. Like, hey, how do you feel about this? Oh, it's great. Like, I shared the first draft of Mr. Lister, Sister Fisher with Dennis, and I feel like that's the first real feedback I've gotten, where it wasn't like a glowing review. It was like, hey, these are some issues I had with it. I was like, oh, sweet, this is something I can actually work on.
And that's what I want, because especially with us, we're our own. I really don't want to be my own editor. You just miss too much. Literally down to the delays, about halfway through the delays, luckily before we printed, I still had edits I caught in the book I needed to catch. And that bugs me. There should be a fresh pair of eyes on that and able to suss out the weaknesses and adapt with me.
Right.
But at the moment, you got to work with what you got and do the best you can with that.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm kind of stuck with, where, I am my own editor. So, like, when stuff comes... Like, you saw the page I showed today where I immediately was like, hey, this needs editing, and it's not done. But here it is. And there's so much wrong with that page.
Yeah, and even then, we didn't call out too much. I didn't notice too much. I didn't give it the good editor's look, which an editor's look, it's 2, 3, 4 hours. Just that's what they're fucking doing. They're staring at these things. They're taking notes, and then they're taking a break for a day or two, and then they're doing that again. That's what you need to suss out very small errors. And it's really easy. For instance, all the way almost till in my proof. So my proof for issue 2 has 3 mistakes that aren't in the print run of the book, because I found them, and when I was reading for it, I must have read this thing 150, 200 goddamn times, and I found a flowing issue that I hadn't found before, where a narration box was too big and it needed to be split up into 2. But it took me forever to really click on that. And I read it for fucking ever. There was another one where I used at the beginning of in the last 100 years or something, and I could have just used century, and I used century in the reprint. It's just small little things that really make it flow cleaner, and particularly on lettering. That's where the editing really needs to kick in, unless you're like you, very specific on your how your characters are rendered and what you're trying to communicate in panels. Me again, I blue script. Maxi does his magic, and then I write to his magic. So it's more of a give and take on that. But there is a lot to be said for having a very specific vision and making sure it's executed.
Getting ammo.
You're right.
The drones are up.
And editorial is supposed to facilitate either way. And being your own editorial takes away a little bit from both of those angles, but it doesn't stop them or anything. But it does. It takes a little bit away. It makes it just that much harder. But that's the independent. That's the circuit. That's the battleground we're running in, and you just build from there. And again, adapt and find what you can, work with what you can, and grow as you can. And eventually, these little bits will become second nature, and it'll be a lot easier to make sure mistakes aren't found like that, or aren't made in the first place like that. Excuse me.
Fair, because man, looking back, there's so many mistakes in issue 4 that I hope nobody notices.
Now I'm gonna have to go in so I can prod you on it.
Nope, not gonna tell you what it is.
I'm not.
Well, actually, I'll say this one thing. There's actually a page where there's a word bubble that's missing.
Interesting. We specifically in Jack 2 have a page where there is no narration boxes. It's just words on the black of the
Local area
images.
network
But
detected.
and we did that in issue
Check
1
any
for
terminals or
one
laptops
phrase
you
to
find.
kind of hide it and emphasize what the phrase was saying. But interesting. Okay, I'll have to see that. That's a trip.
Yeah, like I completely missed it. And again, that goes back to having to be your own editor on things. Where
Does Antarctic take a look at it before it hits print?
they do, but they edit for content, not so much everything else.
I'll fix you up.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, no, I was just curious. You know what? Something I heard that was kind of funny. Somebody called out something that happened in one of Donny Cates' recent books, a real bad mistake, a spelling thing, and he said it was on him. And I was like, wait, don't you have an editorial team at Marvel? Or are they literally expecting you to also be your own editor? That's at Marvel. So I don't know the state of this goddamn industry, but that spooks the hell out of me. Donny Cates, one of their most famous, best-selling authors, is he his own fucking editor?
That's crazy. That actually explains everything that's gone on at Marvel then.
Like are editors just like I kind of felt that they've been kind of just paycheck collectors, but I thought there was at least some kind of energy towards the book creation, towards making sure this lines up with something, or typos. That was a typo. It was a pretty blatant typo, and he took full responsibility without saying, yeah, sorry, that got by the team, anything like that. No, that struck me very odd. Just the phrasing.
So I know that AP will clean up my typo errors and whatnot, like capitalization, periods, whatever. Not so much. So if there's like any typos that come out or any errors, it's like from the script directly. That's actually on me.
So that might be it. That might be it right there. And again, just a year in it, learning. So that might be it right there. It might be the same for Donnie. That the letterer just worked off the script, and the script was wrong. But at somebody like Marvel, and you're building this big universe, all these books are connected. Making sure that this specific typo too, it was
Writer?
using somebody's. Yeah, it was a writer. You caught that? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing. And so you would think that wouldn't slip past his specific editor. I know a mangaka editor, that kind of shit wouldn't get passed in a second. That shit, he would have been that mangaka would have got a lot of shit. You know that
Definitely.
That doesn't fly. So I don't know. I know Western comics are much more of a gluttony. It's a different thing, but the art is very the same in terms of what you're practicing, what you're trying to do. And at Marvel, they should be setting the standard. I'm not calling out Donnie for that either. He's relatively new to the damn scene too. But just overall, with everything else they're doing that's kind of not great. That's the last thing they need to also be throwing into the mix is confusion.
Agreed.
And having a chief editor, having an editor that's looking over the specific creator team's books, that's kind of what's supposed to happen. They're supposed to be involved to past that point, honestly. They should be knowing what's going on in the story 5-6 issues ahead. They should know what's coming, and then when it gets to their desk finished, they should be the final word on, oh shit, you messed up here, or you get this isn't communicated properly, or this is wrong. And if Marvel on such a big creator can't bear that, that's a interesting state of the industry.
It actually has me worried, because then what the hell's going on over there?
Well, with a lot of game companies right now, I'm pretty sure they're going bankrupt. So they're just throwing all their money into these gambling machines. But Marvel doesn't have that, and so I don't know exactly I don't know what they're doing. I hope they know what they're doing, even if it's something I disagree with. But as long as they know it, then at least there's a path. But little things like that make me very curious if there is a path. And like pivoting really quickly back to Jonathan Hickman for X-Men, and then pivoting away from him just as quickly. That kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know the thoughts there. And you want to be able to look at the big guys doing well. And at least DC, I haven't heard too much of that kind of stuff. I think they still have a decent editorial, if nothing else. And so that's good. So just pay attention to DC on that, I guess.
Well, the main criticism I've seen leveled at DC has always been Dan Didio sucks. Or Tom King sucks.
Yeah, the Tom King one, you either love him or really, really despise him.
I'm indifferent.
And in my opinion, I have no idea. Yeah, exactly. I'm a back issue guy. See, that's the thing. I don't have too much credence talking about the current quality of books. Just what I observe in the industry from those folks, and the comments I hear around me, and that kind of stuff about the books. But I hear just as much love for the books as I do for hate, even in our circles. So it's harder for me to level too much. But that kind of editorial thing, I have no problem leveling with. Like that should not be happening. There should be a certain standard, especially with rookie creators. You should be holding their hands for a while, even if they've proven themselves really good. You got to make sure have they proven themselves to be 100% Marvel fucking quality or 100% DC quality. That's the thing. And you'd want an editorial that can do that. But I have no idea. Again, back issue fan, always probably will be. And indie. That's the other thing. I've been buying a lot more indie recently, just because I found the extreme variety and creativity in indie. That's actually blown me away. Being part of indies allowed me to really see that. I kind of saw it as weird a little bit when I was just first reading Marvel and DC stories, but now I find indie so damn refreshing.
I've always been into indies. Like, I've always read Antarctic Press books, like when I was a kid. And if you've seen my Discord name, has also been the same name I've used in like World of Warcraft or whatever. It's always been Raynd, Raynd. And if you look at Antarctic Press, they have this book called Unicorn Hunters that they released, I want to say back in the 90s. It was, I think, John Kurtz. And I have always referenced that book in like everything I've done. So even like Rags in itself, the unicorn is actually a nod to that book, because that book had such a profound influence on everything I've read and done. Because it wasn't like your typical book where there was a happy ending and everybody ran off in the sunset. It was pretty jacked up, but fun. And I think I've always wanted to do something like that. That was mine.
And see, I think that's a sentiment a lot of creators, even and maybe even especially at the big two, they share that. And so I've been doing my best because I know there's this huge thing of just shitting on the big dude because they're the big dude. And I find that bullshit because there's a lot of creations and creators out there in those bigger trenches that are doing great work and doing really well. You know Brian Edward Hill pretty well. I've been talking to him once in a while. My favorite so far, though, that's been really nice to me and really cool has been JMD Matisse. He's written almost everything for Marvel and almost everything on DC, one title or another. And it's just little things like that. I'm an individualist, and I always will be, and that's you lose. Indie has made me respect that even more so.
As long as you're not forcing people to join a club.
Yeah.
But the thing about the big two is you have to have a line that says this is where like you've made it. And between the things I've read and seen drawn at the big two, I've seen indie titles that blow big two books away, just in art alone.
Particularly recently, no, I'm 100% with you. God, what was that? The recent. Oh, it wasn't Psylocke. Oh God, what was It's a young girl in a hood. Oh, I don't remember the character. That's gonna bug the hell out of me. But yeah, there's the bar is different. I don't know if it's because again they're way low on money, and so they're trying a different angle that's cheaper and yet less profitable, but maybe sustainable. Maybe that's what they're going for. But you can never really know what's in their heads until you're part of that. And currently, I don't really want to be a part of that. I'm way better, way happier doing my own thing with the wonderfully talented teams I've been able to assemble for these books.
Oh, same here, man. Like, I know I've said this before, but I've been optioned to do like multiple books and write on other stuff, and I outright refuse to do it. Mainly because I don't want to work with another artist that's not Luigi.
Well, see, I'm different. I like working with different people and seeing the different processes, but it would take a very specific project and very loose creative control. It's got to be coming from me, not me just adapting something for somebody, not me just going through the motions and doing a writing gig for a paycheck. That's not why I do it. In fact, I still haven't earned the paycheck for writing. Just how it goes, you know. We invest back into our books, we invest back into our creative teams because we love that. We love working with them. And of course, I love working with Maxie a lot, but I've liked working with Dollar Coins and editorial, and with him and his book and his team with Andrea Boscolo. I enjoy working with Carl on the pinups. I did 5 other pinups. That was 5 other teams. Only one team did I have an issue with, and he still delivered a wonderful piece. Eventually, there's all those coming from me, and you know this. You do pinups, you do variant covers, so you kind of know what I'm talking about.
Right. There's a difference for me. There's a difference between I just need you to do a pinup versus I'm actually going to do a full-blown book with you.
Yeah, and the only experience I can talk about there is Cactus Coyote, and even then, on editorial, and I did do a manga with him too. Straight up, I did the lettering, I did editing, I did a lot of the adaptation to the writing after he finished his art. But so maybe that helped too. We were able to go through the trenches together a little bit. 40 pages over that time. Also gave me something to fucking do while Jack 2 was again out of my hands, just with the artist. But you gotta be able to find those people that you can gel with properly.
Right, because the last thing you need is a artist or a colorist or a letterer that just goes ghost for like 2-3 months, and you're wondering like, okay, what's the status on this? And then you have customers yelling at you, like, hey, where's this book? And the only answer you have is, well, I don't know, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah, that's completely unacceptable. Yeah, luckily I haven't had that. Even the negative I had was not for a couple months, but it was continuously overestimating how quickly he could deliver the piece. And yeah, and he was the only one I went through and really got a solid contract signed on and shit, because I kind of knew that shit was going to happen. But nonetheless, yeah, I wouldn't want to do a book with somebody like that, because there's a lot of give and take with that process, and there's a lot of once you get your half of the machine rolling, the marketing, the writing bit, the just all the maintenance, you don't also want to have to be 100% babysitting every. That's why you're working with a team. They cover you on those other aspects.
Yep. And when they don't, it's like, like Raven, close friend of mine. She's about to announce her Kickstarter for Machi the Lazy Witch here pretty soon. Well, not necessarily my art style. I'm gonna, support it. But the thing she was most worried about was, like, having pages and getting people hyped for pages, but not having anything in between. And one of the pieces of advice that I told her was like, hey, look, you don't have to have completed pages, but you have to show progress.
All the people want, especially when they're giving you money and support, is to know that you're working on it. For instance, again, Jack has some of the best backers and fans out there. Just simply because
my
of how
fans are better.
patient they've been with me. Yeah, well,
We can fight to the death on that one.
we could. I guess we can go to Ben Henderson. You want to box me? You probably kick my ass.
Yeah, bring it. Who's got the better fans? No, I believe like every fan that like supports you on like the Patreon or Kickstarter, where like they're great, right?
Yeah, that's the point, and you're the reason they took that initial plunge is because you somehow sold them on the project yourself, and hopefully a combination of both. And so they'll support that as long as you keep delivering that, even if it's in small segments, different kinds of interaction, simple updates. Even it can go so very.
Right. I found something that like kind of works for us. We are very transparent especially when we make mistakes or mess ups, or even if the printer messes up and it's not our fault. I've had fans say like, "Hey, I'll pay for the replacement. It's fine." I'm like, "No, I'll just pay out of pocket for it." And I found that they appreciate at least that I was trying to do something.
Again, we kind of brought this up earlier. To me, and it sounds like to you, communication equals respect. And to a lot of people, that's literally what it does. And as long as you're communicating, as long as you're doing your best on them as far as you can, then I think you can get on through.
Check out the server just to be sure.
Because that's the main reason why I don't back too many Indiegogos or Kickstarters. Is like Rob Liefeld's what's the name of it? Like Guardians or whatever.
Here's hoping we get some value from the
It's
data
been-
transmitted.
What, 3 years? It's been like 2 or 3 years.
That's such a trip. I did all of Jack on $7,500. You know, after the things, and I got my issue 1 out within about 4 months. That's very odd to me. I don't know how you get so lost and unable to fulfill that, especially, you know, with a pro name and pro money behind you. That's very odd.
Yeah, same. Like, I think he ended up getting like $32,000 on it. I'm not too specifically sure, but to me, like, you know, Rags has a very expedited production cycle, where it's maybe 2 to 3 months of actual inking and drawing plus colors. Then the letters go in, and then within a month after that, you know, we're already ready to print. So outside of like me effing up, I guess you could say our production cycle is anywhere between 4 to 5 months. Granted,
Which is
there's no
incredible for a self-published well, not self-published, but for an indie book like that. That's such a trip. Well, it is. It's co-self-published in terms of there's a publishing wing, but there's also you guys publishing it yourself. So I'm right and wrong, but nonetheless, it's so goddamn impressive.
right, and you know, errors happen, which thank God people give us a lot of wiggle room to make the mistake. Sometimes it's just me, but it's like, so for me, it's like I've been able to get this thing down, almost down to the dime, to where, you know, we can get the production, the inking done, the coloring done, the lettering done, all the editing done, maybe a couple pages off, but it's within 5 months. Every issue's like ready to go, ready to print, ready to ship. And yet you see some pros, it takes them a year, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years to get anything off the ground. It's like, how the hell am I able to do this as a noob? And you're a professional, been in the
part-time. That's the other thing too. They get to use the term professional because it's their profession. It's what they make money on. It's their primary source of livelihood, and a hobbyist shouldn't be able to outproduce a professional. That's odd.
Extremely.
The significant Black Tusk activity at the metro entrance near the plaza.
It's always been like the weirdest thing to me. It's like, how have I been able to do this as busy and mentally challenged as I am, and yet you have pros that,
Get them out of there.
you know, it takes them longer. Which is not to like shit on anybody, but it's just like, it's eyebrow raising, if you know what I mean.
It really is. But you know, I think once you're established, you get a little looser. You get a little too confident. You stop improving, and you never want to stop improving. Maybe your art doesn't stop improving, but maybe your professionalism does, or your ability to make sure the team's running quick enough does, or, you know, something's gonna give eventually due to confidence. It just always will, or at least overconfidence.
I hope I never reach that point.
Depends on the person. There's plenty of pros who have been working in this industry for like 40 years, and they are still utmost professionals and just great people to talk to and produce great work. And you know, it's possible. It's just, again, those kind of people aren't so loud. and
Fair,
their fan
definitely
bases are
fair.
also- their fan bases are also usually calmer. So there's a lot there, and so their ego also doesn't get boosted so damn high either, or maybe they're just a naturally humble person. Again, there's infinite amount of factors, and just like every comic script I've seen from indie is different. Every creative team's going to be different. Every artist's art style is going to be relatively different. It's part of the very cool stuff here, but again, it's a pain in the ass too, and there's a lot of pitfalls along the way if you're not looking, or if you're overconfident and don't think you're going to hit any of them. Says
Truth.
the guy who's been doing this for like a month and for a year and like 3 months.
Right? Like, it still trips me out to this day that I guess technically you could call me a pro, but I don't feel like one.
Friendly combatants nearby.
It depends on your definition. A comics pro is in you're published and you continuously put out work and people read it and enjoy it. Oh, absolutely. In terms of your primary source of income as a profession, I don't think so. But I don't. I wouldn't call myself a pro for the same reason. I find professional is when it's your profession, but I don't know. I wouldn't call you a hobbyist either. so there's got to be an in between that I don't know. I just go with comic
Part-timer?
creator.
Supplies nearby.
Part-timer works. Part-timer works.
Yeah. So I don't think a lot of people realize a lot of this stuff for Rags is done on the weekends.
So it's truly a weekend warrior book.
It seriously is.
Yeah, we'll see how the future. I think shit'll calm for a while.
been a lot of
It's hit a
black
point
tusk
where
activity
literally
around that
people
metro
are
entrance.
closing their
Clear all
wallets to
hostile elements from
crowdfunding.
the
I'm
area.
feeling that pinch with Cactus. A lot of people who would have supported the campaign just they're sick of it. They're sick of the bullshit, and of course, people like me suffer a little bit more. But you know, that's just a learning curve. It's a reminder, a gentle nudge that this business model isn't sustainable, and to learn more and figure out another angle.
Right. I feel like I think crowdfunding can be a sustainable business model as long as it's the right form of crowdfunding, if that makes sense.
Well, consistent, for instance, the Patreon crowdfunding, that one you can pretty much expect unless something really. It's a fan base that you've built and you can almost rely on each month, whereas with campaigns and such, you have to kick up that interest again. And in my case, it's a different title, so that's a whole thing too, and a different creative team, so that's a thing too. It's almost it's basically it's a new title. No matter if I've been marketing it for nine months or so.
10 months?
10 months, yeah. It's been a long time. It didn't take much. It was
Because I remember you brought up Cactus Coyote like last year sometime.
Yeah, no, we've been down on it for a while. It really is the foundation of the high fantasy angle where we're building towards. It's what makes us. We're trying to be the weird Western One Piece down the line, and I think we can fucking do it in terms of the content and where we're going. But it's the only hurdle. The only hurdle in our way is funding. I've got the teams. I've got the talents. I've got most of the skills. it's just fucking funding, and getting people to open their wallets again can be very difficult. Open it for the first time even more so.
Device detected.
Yep. My major problem is keeping people. So Patreon is slightly different, where it's a month to month, and you want people to stay pledging for a long period of time. And this is like a big, huge learning curve for me. So getting people to consistently, it's about $280 is where people just kind of say like, okay, screw this, I'm done, which I completely understand. But again, the Patreon is really more supposed to be supporting the creative team and getting the work done, not so much the book getting printed, which
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
about to.
If you wanted to just buy the book, Antarctic's got you covered for the moment. but there won't be more books unless you folks support the team. So I get that. It's a rough balance, and like you said, $280. That's a hell of an investment on your team, but. Of course, that's on the team, and if they enjoy what you're doing, they want to keep you doing it. Then that's the price is going to be there as long as it's not literally hurting them, to give you the money. Then nothing wrong with that.
Right. It's again. We've been trying to figure out like what's the best way to give people like the best bang for their buck. How do we better stay like? There's people like we've messed for 4 months and we don't know, and it's not like. We're doing that on purpose. It's like, oh, the printer just for some reason skipped over that name or got lost in the mail. We've had a few people where, they've actually gotten their books stolen from the mailbox.
Wow,
and
that sucks.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, we're just gonna have to send a new one out of pocket. But again, it's like keeping people involved and interacting. That's the tough part.
It's a tough part, but I'd assume it's also part of the, there's going to be a lot of very fulfilling moments in that, I'd assume. I know you pointed out at least one or two that meant something to you, and that's a lot of why I do this. One of my little kind of things I really like to do specifically on Twitter is find very small, very talented artists and boost the fuck out of them. Just yesterday, I got a guy about 3 times the amount of followers. On his Daredevil Electra piece, and then later that evening he had done a wonderful Charles Bronson-esque fan art piece of Jack.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That kind of shit. That's what makes my day. That's what keeps me here. That kind of exchange. It wasn't obligated for me to help him. It wasn't obligated for him. Cool and lend his talents on that. I liked his art. I wanted to boost the fuck out of it. He had 13 followers or some bullshit. It was just it's that I love that part of this, and just again meeting dollar coins and being able to really forge Ironverse into something, getting all the teams. That stuff is what really. I was stoked to get back on the campaign trail, just to interact with folks and be able to put these skills to use again that I've been just sitting around on for 9 months about, bugging the hell out of me. Because with Wicked, I can't offer through Patreon. I can't at the moment. I haven't called them out on these on offering digital. I haven't called them out on that yet, but I might have to soon. I would like to grab more of a Patreon base just for consistent funding, so I can do pinups and continue community engagement, fan art contests, that kind of stuff. But there's so much politics and maneuvering. I endure it. You endure it. Every creator endures it. You just got to find what the hell you love out of it, and make sure you really pay attention to that. Because if you don't, you'll drown in the rest.
Got fair. Give me 1 second.
been a lot
brother.
of Black Tusk activity around that metro entrance. Clear all hostile elements from the area.
And we're back. Alright, so what was the last thing you said? Oh, digital. So this is kind of like the one thing I did with Antarctic that I'm not sure why no one else has done. I made it certain that, you know, anything digital was like my domain.
Well, see, with Wicked, I wanted to leverage the digital to pay for the fulfillment covering for me. So
Film?
I plan to maybe readdress that after fulfillment and after I have all the solid numbers I need. But the moment
Wait.
6 month delay, and then I can do digital. And it's been about 8 since Jack hit, so I can. I'm really waiting to have a lot of conversations till after Jack 2 is fulfilled.
I see. Well, you said film, so Wicked's gonna film?
No, fulfilled.
Oh, fulfill. Oh, got it.
Yeah, you know, they're doing the printing and the shipping. In fact, they're gonna hook up our backers with a couple cool little things that nobody really knows about yet, which I'm gonna try and keep a surprise, because the element of surprise is a very powerful tool.
Oh, right. Like,
Vital signs critical.
I got some backers right now that are getting custom collages from HP.
Down and out.
Very cool. I love her work.
Oh, me too. The next thing I'm gonna do is gonna be, she does collages and she also does, what are they called? Lockbox? Key boxes?
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's another thing I'm gonna be leveraging here pretty soon. But I like to not let everybody know when these things are happening. The only bad part about this is like, so, which is just a bad thing with Patreon in itself. If somebody shows up like mid-month for something like I've already gotten logistically squared away, and I'm not actively paying attention to it,
Yeah, no, you'll miss that. I could see that. And that's why I waited to kind of hop on till Shane gave you that wonderful idea of back issue fulfillment. But I've tried to stay on the whole time since then, just because of that. Trying to make sure I can get as much out of it as possible. But yeah, it's I could see that being a hell of a problem.
yeah, it's something I'm trying to, we're trying to do better on. But now that Patreon's got, what do you call it, like our team page.
Look what I got.
Yeah, and I also got an email about your exclusive merch is 1 month closer, or whatever that is. So that's kind of cool. I'm
Yep.
excited to see what that ends up being.
So we're trying to get that like better squared away and disseminated down. So far, like Patreon only offers like posters, mugs, stickers. So we're trying to leverage, you know, maybe we can expand that. I'm also trying to leverage like the Shopify storefront too. Because I know people often like, oh, hey, what's the best way to tip you? I was like, you know what? If you actually buy the merch,
Get down to the
it's
mall.
better than tipping, because you're actually getting something, like you're spending your money on something tangible rather than just throwing money at me.
And you also get to, you know, remember that purchase, and you get to advertise also a little bit. So that's all of that's a good help.
Exactly. Which later after this I gotta go start designing stuff all over again.
Yeah, you guys have been killer on your merch stores. That's for sure. Mine's a gluttony of nothing selling.
Entering
Oh,
contaminated
not a whole lot of things are selling, but oh, so this is kind of like the fun
C62
thing.
Detected.
Somebody requested that we start making like waifu pillows. So I made
Oh,
one,
yeah, I saw that.
and nobody bought it. And then I took it off because I'm not gonna just throw something up there and have it sit if no one's gonna buy it. Kind of like when somebody asked me to put up socks. I got rid of socks because nobody bought the socks. And like I don't purposely price stuff high, but there's also a printing, shipping cost that goes into all that.
Yeah, and also I think they take a small percentage, right? Kind of like Teespring and TeePublic, right?
Yep. And so, you know, I try to keep things to where I can actually make like some money off of it, but not at the same time cost somebody an arm and a leg. But oh, hold on. War dog here.
System disrupted.
Yeah, all of those, you know, where you can just throw up the images and they'll print and ship them for you. They're expensive just simply because the creator doesn't have to worry about printing and shipping.
Yep. And it's not like we're doing it on purpose, but there's
No,
like
you can cut it down to like $1 profit margin for you, but then
it's not
even
worth it.
then the shirt's kind of expensive, and then yeah, exactly, it's not.
I think I had socks on there for like $12, and someone's like, "That's way too much for a pair of socks." And honestly, it's like, man, that's the lowest I could get it, and actually make a profit from it, without having like to price gouge anybody. That's just me
Yeah,
being honest.
Well, you gotta kind of push them. You know, you're not gonna get this anywhere else. Nobody else can get this anywhere else. It's gonna be very low print run. It's gonna be a very unique item. Blah blah blah. But then you're just kind of laying it on heavy. But I don't mind doing.
I think that's one of my other faults.
Oh, you understand shame? Yeah, I don't.
I do. I don't believe in lying to people or forcing folks to buy stuff that they don't want. But what I will
I don't know
do,
if it's lying. I think.
maybe I'm just a terrible
I
salesman. Let's
understand
just
that
put it
line.
there.
I
I'm just not a good
understand the
salesman.
line of calling it lying, but yeah, it's buttering something up. But that's the whole point of salesmanship. Otherwise, you wouldn't be selling the product; it'd be selling itself.
Right, and I don't want
Which
to force.
you are kind of doing with comics, so good on you.
Right, I just don't want to force people to buy something like they're not going to be happy with. But if
There's a map of the tunnel system here.
like I get asked like, hey, are you going to do more waifu pillows? Like as soon as the other ones start moving more, and if they don't move more, then no, not so much. It's also the things that gets me in trouble with like variant covers where people are, like I'll get like some pinup art done and somebody be like, oh man, that would make an awesome variant cover, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it, and then here I am stuck fulfilling this variant cover, and I'm like, oh man, I totally screwed myself. I shouldn't have done that, because not everything necessarily has to be a variant cover, and not necessarily everything's a poster or a waifu pillow. But I've just cleared out my Shopify storefront last night. So if anybody was actually eyeballing like the waifu pillows or the pins or whatever, those are now gone.
Too late.
Request priority
Yep.
transport from the plaza. Should have all the barrels ready soon.
And like in our Discord channel, we get asked to do like a bunch of stuff. Again, you know, waifu pillows, plushies,
Well,
all
of
this
course you're
shit.
going to be asked, but the next thing you should answer them are you going to buy it right away?
Exactly, because
What
I
price
can
would
do
you
this.
want it to be at, and then you can look at it and say like, well, no, I can't sell it to you at that price. I can make it for you, I can put it in front of you, but if you're not going to buy it at the price that's reasonable, there's no point in any of the work that anybody involved in this put in. But no, I've been lucked out. Most of the stuff on my merch store, I've bought a lot of merch, but it's mainly was not a lot of gifts from Zero Fox, our logo guy, a lot of stuff like that, and so that's been kind of nice. I don't feel bad putting that stuff up there and letting it sit for a while, just in case somebody does end up wanting it. In fact, if anybody wants any of that kind of shit with our campaigns, I can just point them straight to there and say, well, you're supporting the team the same, just go pick up what you want. But again, it's a gluttony of content, and I probably have to clean the shit out of my store too to make it a little bit more enticing.
Right, fair. So like one thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna go back and make all the cover art as posters. And that's probably gonna be about it for posters until I get like the next fun thing I wanna do or throw up. Like I had the Bowsette poster for a little bit. Nobody bought it.
Oh,
Even
really? Not even off the heat of the meme.
right, no one bought it, which really made me sad because people asked for it, and I got it done.
Yeah, merch is harder to move than the comics. I find that so interesting. You know, something more practical, more usable is actually harder to move than just a funny book.
Right, and the weird thing about it is you're more than likely to move merch if it's thrown out as exclusive rather than like, oh, here it is, you can grab it anytime you want.
I see that. Yeah, that's true.
Which pretty soon here I'm gonna start doing trading cards.
Yeah, I saw some very neat. I've seen some, I believe, and they're looking pretty good. Particularly the metal ones, from what I saw.
Oh yeah,
That's
metal
some,
ones
that's
are
some
dope.
sexy. Yeah, that's some sexy stuff right there. I definitely want to do some metal covers for the Ironverse. It's just fucking as logical as anything. As a heavy metal fucking themed universe, it's kind of would work with some metal covers. But yeah, get there. One thing at a time.
So I found a very inexpensive way to get that done. Same place that does like the metal cards for me.
Secure the area, agent.
Caveat to that, it might take a bit to coordinate, as I've learned.
Was that Fairy Metal or whatever? Because I had
Yep.
contacted them. I got that in motion, but not solid.
Yeah, takes a minute, but it's very good quality work.
Well, the next step though is getting it to the printer and then getting the printer to be able to bind them. I'm curious how that would all go.
So what you do, right, is you get it printed first, and then you send it to Fairy Metal.
Oh, okay. So they would be the ones, and then they'd ship it to whoever's gonna be fulfilling it. Okay.
So, well, actually, they'll ship it right back to you. But, like I said, it's a process. So if I were you, if I were to do it, I would already have like the number of metal book covers that I would already have the number of metal covers like ready to go, already printed. And then I would send those to Fairy Metal, have them ship it back, and then mail that out by hand. I know it's a little bit more work, but worth it.
No, I get you. I like that. Again, though, I've got more fundamental issues to worry about at the moment. I still got to worry about making sure I can get ahead of these printer issues again. I can get ahead of the fulfillment thing. I can get ahead of the production schedule. So there's a lot more for me to worry about. But that is a neat thing I do want to pivot towards some point. Maybe for like a trade paperback or something. That'd be pretty neat.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. maybe for me, just like a handful, not necessarily 200 to 300.
Yeah, again, that would be depending on funding, of course. All I know about the public print run for Jack is that Wicked's going to do it and really wants to do it. I have no idea the numbers we want to do. I'm looking forward to complete fulfillment for this campaign, so we know how many the exclusive Indiegogo kind of covers are just laying around. I'm going to buy quite a few myself. A lot of people around me have missed out on the campaign. I want to get it to them, but also that's going to be an interesting thing. I'm curious what their leverage is and where they want to go with it, and because at the moment there's only going to be about 600 copies in existence of 1 and 2 together, and so I would like to be able to. If we were going in stores, I think that number would be a little bit higher, but.
The Black Tusk are smarter and more.
The path there has been pretty difficult for Wicked, it seems.
So that was actually the question I've been meaning to ask you. Does Wicked not have a way into store shelves?
Same way I would have, which is ground floor marketing. They tried Emerald Distribution, which handles Northern California, and Emerald didn't want to touch
Sure
their
it
books. They said they
Agent,
were not for them.
Intel points to Black Tusk setting up shop in the Capitol
So
building.
that was a thing.
It's gonna be a pain if they bet in.
I don't
so
know if it
don't let
was
them.
Jack,
Good
if it
luck.
was the other titles, or if it was Wicked, or what,
Entering safe
or if it's
area.
just the fact that it's a new kind of unknown publisher. No idea what went on there on that end, but yeah, not a specific way into stores. No, and that does it hinders me a little bit, but they've done nothing but right by me so far. I'm gonna stick with that, but hopefully it'll. There's ways to adapt, and that's why I'm doing 5 titles, not 1.
Fair. It was just that was something that always was on the back of my mind of being meaning to ask.
Yeah, I think they can get into stores. It's a lot of groundwork. They're in the right place too. Out here in buttfuck New Mexico, I'm not gonna. There's one comic store within 64 miles, and then I can go to Albuquerque, and there's 3, and that would be the limit of my reach. I could go up to Colorado, probably hit Denver too. That's probably actually got a pretty good selection, but that would be all me, and I could do that anyway. So there's a lot of adaptation that's gonna continue to occur.
I'm just curious as to why. So I know Antarctic is, man, those guys have been around like forever, but they have a diamond account, whatever. So I'm curious on how hard it would be for Wicked to get a diamond account as a
So
small
to test the run would be Emerald. Emerald's the smaller, kind of like the baby brother of Diamond. That's fucking. It's the same name. They're probably the same owners, in all honesty. And it's just to appear not like a monopoly. But if the lower ground says no, the upper ground's going to be the same. And the problem with Diamond is the upkeep. I think that's what Samedi is always talking about, is that there's a lot of hoops to jump through, and they will make them as difficult for you as possible. And so you really have to have the resources and the practice, I think. And maybe that's what they're kind of waiting for, something for a company to be older. I really don't know. But I don't know how Jack will get into shops, but I'll make it happen one way or another.
Interesting. And I actually may have to talk to you about something offline.
Will do. I'm around.
Yep. Well, this will denote the end of my streamy stream.
Right on. I'm glad I was able to hop on, talk some comics, kill some black ops kind of motherfuckers, and yeah. Wish my computer ran better though. God damn it.
I did fine. All right, everybody. Thanks for showing up, and this concludes our stream for today.